In today's video, we are checking out a mod that turns Minecraft into an RPG dungeon crawler, with 4 main factions to hunt down, each with their own structures and arenas, some of the coolest bosses I've seen yet that all have custom movesets, and a ton of different armor sets and weapons from basic all the way to becoming unstoppable. So let's just jump straight into it. So recently I've been checking out a lot of dungeon mods, boss mods, medieval mods, you get the idea. And even though I'm pretty tragic when it comes to fighting bosses in Minecraft, he's taking bare damage. Oh my god! Some of the mods that people have made are absolutely insane, and the mod in today's video is absolutely no exception of that. So let me show you what it's all about. So when it comes to a majority of boss mods or dungeon mods out there, they kind of just spawn randomly in your world, and then it's up to you, the player, to actually go out, find them, and well, eventually try and beat them. But what really caught my eye with this mod is that as soon as you actually spawn into a new world, you'll be given the combat style manual right here. And so if we actually click that, you'll see that we do get to choose our very own class for this whole playthrough. And you can already tell with the style of this UI that you're definitely going to be in for a treat with this mod. So let me show you some of the classes you can pick here. Starting off with, we've got the Forgotten Knight with 20 health, pretty classic. You get a little bit more strength. And on the top right there, it will actually show you what weapons you specialize in. So heavy, medium, and light. So you're pretty much an all-rounder with this guy. And each one of these classes will also come with a passive ability. So at half health, you will get resistance 1. We also get things like the Vagabond, which is literally just a regular Minecraft player if for some reason you want it to be normal. And you can see this one doesn't actually have a passive at all. But we also get Titans as well, which have an absolute ton of health right there. Very similar capabilities as the first one. And I mean, just look at this armor. Like, wait until we get to the armor sets that I'll show you guys later, because this is just the start. So this guy is a little bit of a tank. You can see he's a little bit slow with his speed there, but you are going to make up with that just for the sheer amount of like damage you can take. We have the Oni Slayer. Again, the armor is just absolute top tier. And this class is a pretty good all-rounder. You can see that we get pretty much decent stats all across the board. We have the Bounty Hunter up next. It's very difficult to actually choose which class you want to go with because the armor is just so sick. We have the Exiled, which is like a magic user right here, complete with like a wand and a crazy style hat. And then finally, we get the D&D classic class of the Rogue right here. And this one's passive is actually really cool. So you see, when you're crouching, you'll become invisible, meaning that just like a rogue, you do have the ability to have much more stealth than everybody else. And to choose any of these, you just go down here where it says choose, give that a click, and there you go. You will actually be given the class's items right here. So you get the full set of armor, the shield, the sword, pretty much everything that you saw right there, you get straight away. And at first I thought, okay, that's probably going to be a little bit overpowered from the get-go, but some of the bosses in this mod, yeah, this armor is definitely not going to cut it. And once you've actually selected your class, you might be thinking, okay, well, what do I do now? Which is where you as a solo or as a group will be tracking down one of the 4 main factions in this mod. So the first out of the main 4 bosses right here is the Catacombs. And as you can see, just like the armor, the structures in this mod are just absolutely insane and so well detailed. And with mods like this, I definitely recommend pairing it with some sort of combat mod, whether that's better combat or if you wanted to do the whole Dark Souls route, in which case Epic Fight is definitely the choice for you. So as we actually head inside right here, you'll see that this place is just completely abandoned. Like, this whole castle is just absolutely gone to ruin. You got like vines hanging down. And since this mod is based all on dungeons, it is basically going to act as a little dungeon crawler in here with the mod's own custom skeletons right there that look really sick. And since this is going to play very similar to like other dungeons in different games, obviously the higher up you go, the more difficult it is going to get. So right here we have an upgrade to one of the mobs. This is actually a Skull Deserter. And when you give them a punch, you will get the Spooky Scary Skeletons achievement. And I will be saying it a lot in this video, but these guys do look really cool. And they all look very similar to the actual faction that they're a part of, which, yeah, not to spoil what the boss looks like, but just imagine that, but like times 50. And if you've played a lot of fantasy games in the past, you might be a little bit suspicious of this chest. And that is because if you try and loot this thing, there you go right there. It is basically this mod's very own version of the Mimic. Like, look at the eye, like the tongue and everything. Like, this is just a Mimic as well. Like, this isn't even a boss. You'll also find rooms filled with parkour, you know, just to add to that danger factor. And yeah, I definitely recommend getting a little bit prepared when you do want to storm some of these structures, because yeah, like the rooms just get harder and harder as you go up. And after going through all the floors and looting all that stuff up and going against all those creatures, you might be thinking, where's the boss? Which is where the boss arena actually stands as its very own structure. And straight away you can see that it is very similar to the first dungeon that we checked out, except this time we've got this giant sort of podium in the middle here, also known as the Champion Brazier. And whenever you're ready, all you need to do is give it a right click, lightning will strike, and then you have to deal with this dude right here, who, yeah, by the way, is not just all for looks, because this guy is absolutely terrifying to go against. As you can see, he's extremely quick. And yeah, extremely powerful. And this is why I was saying that it'd be really cool to have like a combat mod in here, just so you can actually like roll and stuff like that. As yeah, facing this guy with a beginner gear is definitely not going to do you any good. Yep. So let me show you a couple of the other bosses that you might run into. And with this one being based in desert biomes and hotter biomes in general, you can probably imagine what this boss is going to look like. And so there are actually quite a few different structures when it comes to this faction. I'm pretty sure these guys are called the Children of the Sun, which, you know, definitely makes sense. And this structure again is just so well detailed, like even got like the chiseled blocks all the way up the pillars there. We've even got some giant braziers right here as well. But right at the end, the main thing you want to be focusing on is this artifact right here, also known as the sun layer light. And it's only when you actually right click this that out will spawn the boss. And as you can see, yeah. And when I first saw the design for this boss, I was like, okay, so it looks like Melania from Elden Ring, but I mean, you know, complete with just giant wings and bird talons. And once again, if we do go in survival right here, you'll be able to see all those abilities in action. And this one is definitely a much harder boss. And once again, even though we are rocking the basic armor, just a few hits from this boss is going to leave you pretty damn damaged. Which is where this structure comes in, which I'm pretty sure is part of the same faction right here. And this giant pyramid temple right here is basically going to act as the dungeon like we saw with the first boss. And I will say that they've absolutely nailed like the Egyptian styling with this. Like even these like custom like sandstone lights right here look really, really cool. But hidden within some of these chests, you might get lucky and actually find weapons that are straight from this mod. So for example, this one right here, we got the golden lance. And you can even find things like Estus flask to help you in the boss battles, as well as some really cool armor trims, which we'll go over later. And when you do reach the top right here, you will be greeted with a couple of new custom mobs. These guys right here are the sandstone golems. You can see they're all completely animated right there with their walking. Another mob you might run into, which I absolutely love, are these like harpies right here that look really, really sick. And yeah, just like before, you can definitely tell that they're part of the same faction as the main boss. But yeah, if you weren't ready for the main boss just yet, definitely check out this structure and get looted up, because yeah, it's definitely going to get a little bit more tougher from here. And one more thing I will say about this place is that if you have arachnophobia or you don't like scorpions or anything, yeah, you're really not going to like this place. And unlike a lot of other dungeon or boss mods, this one actually adds in some really nice just sort of like pit stop structures like this one right here. We have the tavern, which is about as RPG as it gets. As you know, you can basically just come in here, take a rest, you know, do what you can, regroup with your friends if you're playing this in multiplayer, and, you know, really get into that RPG lifestyle. So whilst we're quickly taking a break from the bosses and the arenas and the dungeons and stuff like that, let me show you guys a handful of the armor that's available here, where we have ones that are tailored after individual bosses. So like this one right here is the first one that we checked out. And each one of these is actually 3D. You can see you've got all like the different 3D leg armor. You've got different 3D helmets. Like this one right here is like a Sparta sort of outfit. They've even got options for an armored suit with a tie if you really want to go that route. And then they actually have different redesigns of base game armor. So this one right here is actually the netherite armor. You can see right there that we've even got like a plume on the helmet. So like I was saying, most of these armors are going to be pretty flashy straight off the bat, but they just get more and more insane the higher that you go up. Like look at this one right here. You've even got like a cult symbol on the helmet right there, complete with like the exposed rib cage, and like all of these armors are just so sick. We've got like the Melania type armor from that second boss. We've got the bronze stuff, we've got the silver stuff, and even the choice to wear a helmet of the Mimic. And just to show you guys that this is just a handful of the armors, like look how many different sets there are, and they're all just as good as one another. So yeah, like I said before, I'm pretty positive that everybody can find something that they like in this mod. So going back to the 4 factions, I'm pretty sure for these next 2, we have to head inside the Nether. And once again, the structures do not disappoint. I mean, this thing just looks so sick. Like, imagine if this was in the base game. And this structure right here is known as the cathedral. Like, if I was playing a survival world, I would definitely just overtake one of these as like a base or something like that. But as you can tell from some of these guys, we are in fact in the presence of the blood cult right here. And yeah, thinking about it, it's pretty obvious when you look at it like that. And when we approach the main dude right here, just listen to this. Like, yeah, that is absolutely terrifying. And when I was checking this out, I did try and right-click this podium right here, but it does say that this feature is not yet available. So I definitely can't wait to see what kind of updates they bring to this mod. But this guy right here saying all the creepy stuff is actually the High Priest. And yeah, not only will you have to face the High Priest right here, but you're also probably going to have to face this absolute monstrosity right here as well, which is honestly just like a mix between like a Wendigo and just a pure monster right here. It looks so creepy. Like, look at the hands twitching and everything. So yeah, we'll just leave those guys do their thing, and we'll probably come back later. Which is where I've left probably my favorite structure in this whole mod till last, and this belongs to the 4th and final faction, also known as the Beings of Blaze. And it really feels like they went above and beyond when it comes to these nether structures, like damn. And yeah, if you don't have fire res, I definitely do not recommend coming here whatsoever, because as soon as you enter this place, you are going to be charged by pretty much everything that's going to set you on fire, and even run into this dude as well. And thinking about it now, this is like a really, really souped up bastion. Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like, it really does. And so within the dungeon itself, you are going to find a bunch more loot, pretty much all relating to this faction. So we've got things like igneous, we've got steel ingots, we've got glowstone, and just an absolute ton of mobs to go through. Oh my god, this is so loud. They just keep spawning. So yeah, definitely make sure that you have your Estus flasks, or at least a good handful of fire res, because yeah, you're definitely going to need it with the amount of creatures in here. And without spoiling any more than I probably already have, aside from the 4 main bosses, you are also going to be able to run into a couple of other creatures in your world. So this guy right here, for example, who lives in a pretty nice cave, and as you can see, yep, this guy is not going to be be too happy that you're here. Or even finding an ancient tree full of fairies right here. Just, you know, so you can take 5 minutes to breathe after all that fighting. And they even play their own little instruments. So that is going to cut it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. And as I mentioned before, I don't want to spoil too much when it comes to some of the creatures or some of the structures that you might come across. But trust me when I say that there are so many more structures to actually bump into and loads of little mini bosses. So yeah, if you're looking for a mod that adds classes as well as just an absolute ton of different structures and stuff to check out, and honestly basically turn your world into its own like little mini D&D game, definitely check this mod out. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.